Welcome to My Point of View. I am your fat and opinionated host, and I have seen a lot of people try to downplay this Bud Light controversy. But it doesn't matter how you spin it, losing billions of dollars will never be viewed as a positive thing. But Bud Light and Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch, they aren't just losing money. You see, when things like this happen, when you cause a ruckus, if you will, and all eyes are on you and you're getting all of this backlash, what happens is people start going through things with a fine-toothed comb. You know, there are people who have probably drank Bud Light for years and years and years and never even thought for 1 second, hey, I wonder who the CEO of Bud Light is. I wonder who the head of marketing for Bud Light is. You know, that's not the average thing that runs across your mind while cracking open a cold one with the boys. Yet now that all of this drama is going on, people want to know who's the CEO, who's calling the shots, who's responsible for the ads, who did this, who did that. Let me go through your history. Let me look at your social media accounts. That's what happens in situations like this. The internet works in the way that the internet works, and people start picking things apart. And throughout this process, throughout this backlash, it has now come to my attention, as well as the attention of thousands of others, that the CEO of Bud Light, Brendan Whitworth, is actually, and I kid you not, the CEO of Bud Light is a CIA operative. Now notice, I did not say that he was former CIA, because there is no such thing as former CIA. You don't get into the CIA and get all of this top secret information only for you to say, hey, you know, I'm done with the CIA. I want to go run a beer company now. And then you're just, you're former CIA now. No, once in the CIA, always in, you're always in the CIA. The only way out is through in a box. So you may see headlines describing this guy as a former CIA agent, but just keep that in mind. But I would ask, why do we have former CIA agents running huge beer companies? That's kind of odd. And then I would ask, well, how many other CIA operatives have been made the CEO and the heads of these other big corporations and big businesses? If you ask me, that's kind of weird. A CIA agent who used to work with spies and stuff in the Middle East is now overseeing a beer company? I mean, I'm sorry, I just find that odd. But let's find out a little more about this guy. You know, Bud Light feels comfortable basically introducing your kids to trans ideology. Bud Light feels comfortable putting child predators on the side of their beer cans and allowing child predators to market Bud Light to little kids on TikTok. So I feel comfortable going over some of the details about the CEO of Bud Light's life. Let's go ahead and dive in. Now, Whitworth has lived across the United States. He attended Salisanum School, a Catholic high school in Wilmington, and graduated in 1994, having led the school soccer team to win the state championship. Whitworth then decided to follow in his father's footsteps and decided to study medicine, attending Bucknell University in Pennsylvania. But midway through his college career, he had a sudden change of heart. Having always admired the military and government service, he decided he wanted to join the Marines and started attending officer cadet school before being commissioned as a lieutenant in his senior year. His grandfather worked at the FBI, serving under President Hoover, before running the training in Quantico, Virginia. So the pieces of the puzzle are all coming together. By the age of 25, Whitworth was stationed at Camp Pendleton in California. Then he decided to leave the Marines after 3 years. And then he joined the CIA. In the aftermath of 9/11, from 2001 to 2006, Whitworth worked in some of the toughest spots around the globe at the height of the War on Terror: Pakistan, Tunisia, Iraq. He specialized in the recruitment and handling of human sources with access to vital intelligence that prevented and disrupted terrorist threats, and worked directly with spies. So that's just a few details about the CEO of Bud Light. Now, mind you, some people will view those as accomplishments, and I'm not here to demonize the guy for the success that he may have had in life. But how do you go from a CIA operative working with spies in the Middle East to the CEO of Bud Light in just a few short years? I'm not saying it's impossible. After leaving the CIA, which you never really leave the CIA, this guy went to school and got a business degree and worked his way up the ladder very quickly at Bud Light. My question is, and listen, it depends on how you view this story. Some of you all will see this information and you will start seeing the clearer picture of what may be going on here. Some of you all will see this information and it will further confuse you, which is what they want. Now, I'm not saying that this was, how can I put it? I'm not saying that he didn't naturally obtain this position. But seeing as he's a former CIA operative, I can't help but wonder if he was given this position or placed in this position for a reason. And as someone who has been paying very, very, very close attention to the way things have been operating around me for a while, and when I say around me, I mean around all of us, seeing these companies constantly promote some of this weird stuff, these weird ideologies, promoting these same things that Dylan Mulvaney promotes. Part of me wonders, is this all part of a bigger plan? Is the CIA itself partially responsible for pushing a lot of the agendas that we see in today's world? The trans agenda, for example. Is the CIA helping to push this agenda? I know a lot of you all might not know this, but the CIA seems to have its hands in a lot of things that they should not have their hands in. The FBI as well. But it just so happens that, hey, good old Grandpappy was part of the FBI and served under President Hoover. So this whole little family has a history of service to the FBI and the CIA, who I would say don't really work to serve us. So, in many ways, this raises a lot of red flags for me. Now I want to start looking into these other corporations and these other businesses who have been pushing things like this Dylan Mulvaney stuff. And I want to see, hey, how many CIA operatives, how many ex-former CIA agents are working for your company? Do you have CIA agents calling the shots when it comes to your ad campaigns? I want to know how much influence the CIA has in these businesses pushing this trans agenda and other agendas that they have been pushing lately, because this stinks to me. This is glowing with toxic stink. It smells really fishy. I'm really starting to think that this was bigger than maybe even I thought. And I thought that this was big. Matter of fact, it's not about thinking. I know that things like this little stunt that Bud Light pulled, it's not just a one-off situation. It's not like a little mistake. No, this is all part of the plan. It's all part of the agenda. And the agenda is working pretty good. It's working just fine. I can tell you that. So knowing that this is part of an agenda, and knowing that, hey, we got a CIA operative running this place, I can't help but really start questioning things here. This is, and at this point, it almost makes me thankful for this drama playing out. And I've said that before, because this has opened up a lot of people's eyes who have not been paying attention to what has been going on. For me, when I saw the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light can, it did not make me skip a beat. It did not make me blink. It did not make me wince. It did not surprise me in the least bit. It's the same old stuff I've been seeing and pointing out and telling people about, warning people about for years. But this Dylan Mulvaney situation, it's opened up a whole nother demographic of people to finally see what we've been warning them about for so long. But now it's also opening my mind to like, okay, I know there's been an agenda pushed by these big corporations, these big businesses, but in my mind, I never really thought that, hey, the CEO of these beer companies and these food companies and these comic book companies may be freaking CIA operatives. I didn't really think that. That sounds like a big conspiracy if you ask me. But hey, we live in 2023. And what have we all found out lately? That most of these conspiracies are real, and in fact, the world is a much crazier place than any of us ever thought. So long story short, when you're wondering, hey, what's going on with this Bud Light stuff? Why did this happen? Maybe start questioning, why do we have CIA agents running beer companies that are running ads promoting trans agenda and beer to little kids on TikTok? Let me know your thoughts about all of this down in the comments below, though. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell. And remember, always remain opinionated.